Good morning, Greyhounds. I'm Binks Puente.
And I'm Adriana Ojeda.
Over the summer, the UND Dining Service Quest renovated our dining hall in under a few months. This new renovation brought a complete change to the Switzer Student Center, bringing a more modern look to our diverse campus. Today, we have the manager of food services, Amy Duggan, here to talk to us about the renovation and her role as manager at food services here at UND. Welcome, Amy, to Good Morning Greyhounds. How are you this morning?
Good. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Before we get into the dining hall renovations, I want to hear a little bit about you. So as your role of the manager of food services, what does your position look like?
So essentially, I've been at UND with Quest Food Management for a little over 3 years, and I have the pleasure of overseeing all facets of dining, from supporting the university with meal plans as well as menu development, management of all of the chefs and directors for all the locations, and essentially about 100 hourly employees that make things happen for us in the operation every day. So busy job, but it's really a pleasure to be here and support the community, and we really like it here.
So you said you've been here as a manager position for 3 years.
Yes.
What brought you here to UND?
Well, essentially, I've been in higher education for about 12 years. I was in Chicago before I moved to Indiana, and I got to oversee the food service program at Loyola University. So I knew that that was a career move that would be something I was super invested in, something that I really enjoyed doing. So when my family and I moved to Indiana, I knew that naturally I needed to find my way back into this operation. So I had a very close friend that was the general manager here at the time, and he was transitioning back to Chicago. We kind of reversed roles, and I was able to come on board at UND. So I'm very lucky how that all turned out.
How different would you say it would be like from changing from Chicago to going here to UND and working here? Chicago's a little bit more fast-paced. I think that overall big cities like Chicago are a little bit more innovative. So I've been able to bring a lot of the knowledge and skill set and things I learned in Chicago and try to integrate a lot of that into the programming here, which we've been able to do a little bit more so with the renovation and the new equipment. So I think that that level of experience really lent to helping enhance the program here. We still have work to do, and we're still learning and growing, but I think that helped a lot. Yeah.
Along with the renovations, did you have any say in the menu changes and different foods being offered this semester versus the previous semesters?
Typically we have quite a bit of say. I will say that a large portion of the development of the new menus and the new dining space, we gathered a lot of information from a student survey that was conducted a couple of years ago when we were in the initial planning stages. So we used the voice of the students in the form of verbal communication, food committees, online surveys to find out what the students were looking for first and foremost. Once we were able to gather what the students really needed and wanted to see as part of their program, we work in coordination with the university and with the key players here from a dining perspective, as well as with Quest's home office, which is out of Lombard, Illinois. We have an entire culinary program. They help us develop our menus and all of our recipes. We do about 90% of scratch-made cooking here. So I think it was really a team effort. We ultimately do develop the menus, but we revise them and tailor them and sometimes just scratch them completely if the students don't care for them. So I think it takes all of us to really develop something that works well.
Yeah. It's really nice hearing that us students have some say in this.
Mm-hmm.
And how excited were you when you first got the news that we're getting a renovation to our dining hall?
I think it was a dream come true, more so for the UND community, being able to offer a better program with better equipment, being able to bring a lot of our scratch cooking from behind the scenes in the kitchen to the front of house so the students have a little bit more exposure to what we're doing on a daily basis. In addition to what we've been able to develop from a dining standpoint, it's really incredible the way we've been able to open the space and develop a little bit more of a community feel with better furniture, a more open layout,
easier access points so you don't have to actually swipe to get into the seating area anymore, builds a better sense of community, gives you a little bit more freedom of where you're allowed to dine. If you wanted to grab something from Perk or if you wanted to grab something from the store, you can still sit with your friends who are eating in the dining space. So I just think that overall the collaboration was really exciting, more so for the community, but also for Quest and our part in that too.
So what is grad cooking?
Scratch cooking.
Scratch cooking?
Yeah, so that just essentially means that we purchase through only certified purveyors with menu items and ingredients and vendors that our company approves. So we don't just buy anything. There's a process behind that. So we purchase approved ingredients and we make everything as much as we can from scratch. Of course, there are going to be items, that the students really like that we cook from frozen, but overall we really pride ourselves in real home cooking with real ingredients because we think that obviously the community deserves that, but also it's the backbone of our company. So
yeah, that's really great. I love how you brought this idea over to UND from Chicago, because I know a lot of campuses probably don't do that here, so just hearing how that's offered here is really amazing. And then going into it, so talking about our dining hall, can we go more into like the layout and how that helps students like bring more connective, like be more connective and more connectivity?
Sure. So, I mean, the dining space itself, I think it really lends to a little bit more community building. As I mentioned before, kind of knocking down those walls and windows and making it not such a sterile, restricted space has been really, I think, community building. I've noticed that with the different layout of the furniture and the different layout of the dining spaces and the actual food stations, students have a better feel for, using the space a little bit more, having a little bit longer stay, not using their food experience so much as a transaction and more of a total experience, hanging out, being able to lounge, having some maybe informal meetings with professors or faculty. So I think that overall that was really welcoming. The food stations themselves, I think it's encouraged a lot more interaction, especially with the dining staff. So a lot of the staff that, for instance, has spent their tenure here cooking behind the scenes in the kitchens where you all are not able to kind of see the amazing things that they're doing, bringing them out in front of the dining hall where you can see us, scratch making the pizza dough right in front of you, and then obviously cooking the pizzas in the wood oven right in front of you as well has been really fun. Having the new wok station where the chefs can actually talk to you and ask you what you want in your meal and then, toss it in the wok right there, fire it in front of you has been really, really amazing as well. I think just enhances the experience from top to bottom, from a community feel, but also from a dining feel. And I think that the partnership is really, really good. I think it transitioned really naturally with the change in the meal plans as well. And I think that doing the modifications to the meal plans at the same time that we are offering more from a dining perspective was a really strategic move so that the students would be able to experience all the changes at once. And then we can kind of settle into what the new normal looks like in dining and just really work on that experience from that point.
With obviously since with the new dining hall, we also got a new swipe upgraded system.
Yes.
Can you explain how this system works and what's its improvements from the previous semesters?
Absolutely. I think that the largest improvement is that what we previously called the 19 swipes per week is now the unlimited meal plan. And I think that that offers a lot more because there's no restrictions. So essentially you can come into the dining spaces whenever they're open, unlimited swipes in the dining hall itself, so that you can stop by more times throughout the day, have a snack, have a drink, grab something small, and it gives you a lot more access. So I think that was a major improvement, having that unlimited. I also think that adding a portion of flex dollars to every meal plan has been super helpful as well, especially because we now have a 3 swipe maximum in our retail locations. So essentially you're no longer able to use 6 swipes a day in the convenience store or in the Starbucks, for instance, but you have those flex dollars to kind of counterbalance that as well. So the flex dollars that are attached to every meal plan, you can use those just as cash or credit, at any station. So that takes away those restrictions as well. with the renovated space and the dining program, we really wanted to redirect a lot of that student focus back into the dining hall. And so that was super helpful in being able to do that as well. I do think that the new meal plans have offered a lot more value for the students and more flexibility. I know that it was a big change, but I think that it's been widely well received. And as we're having questions or comments, we're always accessible and available to kind of help students work through that. But I think that overall the benefit has been huge, and we're really excited about the change.
Yeah. After this break, we're going to talk more about the flex dollars and how it works.
Are you feeling alone in your faith? UIndy Catholic gives you an opportunity to get involved in a religious community on campus, providing sacramental needs and fellowship for prospective students and giving you a sense of belonging.
We just want you guys to know that God loves you, He delights in you, and He's in awe of you, and we would love to meet you. So you should come on out.
UIndy Catholic, a community for you.
For children who may have high-functioning autism, may have ADHD, processing challenges, working memory issues, sensory integration issues, those types of challenges. It's a place where human beings are valued, children are respected. It's a progressive school that takes a hands-on approach to education.
Welcome back to Good Morning Greyhounds. We have Amy. You were speaking about the flex dollars.
Yes.
Can you go more into what is that?
Absolutely. So flex dollars are essentially just preloaded dollar amounts that operate really similar to what your Crimson Cash does. So that means you can use it without restrictions at any dining space on campus, without tax being added to it as well. So it's really just on the days that you may have used up your maximum swipes at Starbucks or at the Greyhound Express, you would still have those flex dollars left over, so you could still get a coffee or something outside of the dining hall, just to kind of balance those restrictions that were placed on the swipes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of students are asking, why are the swipes outside of dining hall so limited this semester compared to previous semesters?
That's a great question. I think that with the renovation, the intention behind the university's decision to limit those swipes is to really redirect, as I mentioned before, a lot of the traffic back into the dining program. Mm-hmm. I think that any higher education environment really supports that community feel and being able to have the students more accessible in that dining space with their peers and with faculty. I think it just really brings to light why we actually completed the renovation. So I think that that was a really big motivation behind that. I also wanted to mention that most college campuses, specifically here in Indiana, when we did a comparison between UIndy and 9 other prevalent universities here in Indiana, we were the only one that did not have restrictions between our meal swipes. And when I say restrictions, I don't mean it as such of what you're not allowed to do, but a little bit of a division between Starbucks and the dining hall environment. So we wanted to make sure that we were moving forward and we were, kind of setting the tone with the other universities in Indiana. So we were able to still offer those retail swipes, but also limit those to encourage use of the dining hall as well. I think that figuring out that balance is not something that was taken lightly. It was something that was discussed with the UIndy community for several years before the change was made. And I think, again, the decision to partner that change with the renovation was a really good idea. So we give the students everything at once, and we're not throwing a bunch of changes at you year after year.
So I know, as students, we have the swipe meal plans.
Yes.
Does faculty have that?
Faculty has the ability to load money to their cards at any time, yes, and a lot of them take advantage of it. We have a lot of faculty use, which is good. It's increased this year as well, so it's really encouraging.
So how do they do that if any faculty doesn't know about it?
Oh, that's a great question. So they can just essentially use their university card and then load dollars, and those would act as, similar to a Crimson Cash or to the Flex dollars that we talked about.
Do they load them online?
They can. They can load them through the website or in the student center on the second floor.
Awesome. And then with the new swipe system, we also have new reusable to-go containers. Can you go into detail on how students can obtain these containers and how that system works?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. So essentially the containers are $8. They are fully sustainable, reusable containers. It's a one-time purchase. So as long as you are able to not lose the containers, we would always provide you a new one. Whether it's soiled or broken, you can always come to the point of sale in the dining hall and we will give you a brand new container. They do have a lifetime warranty, so they shouldn't break, but just in case they do, we'll give you one for free. So it's a one-time purchase. You'll use it to get your to-go meal with one swipe in the dining space. And then when the container is soiled, you can exchange it for a brand new clean one that we clean and sanitize for you. Or if you don't want the new container at this time, we can give you a token, and you can redeem the token at any time for a clean container. If you just don't want to carry it around with you today, you can come back anytime, use your token, and get a reusable container. We were really excited about this sustainability program because at one point, obviously last year, we were going through upwards of 600 to 800 styrofoam containers a day with our carryout program. The carryout program is something that's really important to the UND community, so we certainly didn't want to take that away, but we also wanted to find a way to leverage that and not be contributing so much to landfills. Obviously, styrofoam is not something that's widely used in the world anymore, and we really wanted to be on that trend and also support sustainability on campus. So far we've sold about 1,200 of the green containers. We're still selling them actively day over day, so I think that the program itself is really starting to take off. The students seem to really like it. I know that it was quite a big change, but we're really excited to not have those styrofoam containers in landfills anymore, and to also support UND in their sustainability initiative on campus.
So like, would this like basically like help like with like the Go Green like Earth system stuff?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And going off of that, do we in the future see that we'll have more recycling options or maybe even like a compost bin near the washing area?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's really limitless what the future holds. From a dining program or a Quest standpoint, we would love to partner with the university and help in any way that we can. I know that a lot of universities are doing composting. That is something that we may look into in the future. Again, we are excited to just partner with whatever direction the university goes. We are really, thrilled to have been able to start this initiative in dining. And again, who knows what the future brings, but we would love to be right there next to everyone here at UND, bringing us to the next level, for sure.
So has our new president been helpful during this? Or has she brought any new ideas to you guys that you guys are considering?
Yeah, she's been incredibly involved and helpful through the transition. She was incredibly involved day to day with the renovation, final stages of opening that up. The president also assigns a dining committee who I and my company that I work for, we meet with them monthly, and we report out on an agenda that the president approves. We talk about dining, any ideas that they may have, and kind of report out on what we're seeing day to day with the students as well. So essentially the president really drives that partnership with her team and with our dining team as well. So I'd say UND, from the president's office to all the faculty, has been incredibly supportive and very, very involved in what we do every day.
Yeah. And then backtracking a little bit, how much involvement were you able to have with the new food and menus on campus?
Every day, every facet of it I've been involved in. We also have a team that we deployed from Chicago, which is our culinary team with a lot of culinary resources. So it was a team effort. I was certainly involved, as well as our chefs from our company's home office. The university, they played a large role in it as well. And as I mentioned before, a lot of it was driven from survey results that we got from the students. So we make our menus here locally. We get ideas and recipes and innovation from our team out of our home office in Illinois, but everything is built here locally.
After this break, we'll be back with Amy asking a little bit more questions that the students want to know.
See ya.
We'll leave it to our actual athletes. Watch UND TV's live sports broadcast on GLVCSN and YouTube.
The first time I went to Lucas Oil was last year for the 6A Center Grove versus Carroll State High School football game. And I walk in this time thinking I know what's going on, thinking I know what's going to happen. And if I were to say that Lucas Oil lost any effect on you, just the pure vastness that it hits you when you walk in, I'd be wrong. And Jace put it perfectly. He walked in and said, wow, this is the dream. And it is, because the people that we look up to listen to a high school football game of the week on WICR HD3 UND Radio.
Before the break, we talked about the dining hall renovations, the new swipe system, and the to-go containers. So now let's get into Greyhound Express and its new location change.
Yeah, so not a huge change. We just moved across the hallway. It seems like a minor move, but it's given us a little bit more square footage, about 100 feet. But the layout has really lent to giving us more equipment and more space, which of course means more options for the student population, which is always what we're really looking to do. We have QR code and texting surveys that we've been using since the spring, but a lot of traffic has been happening this fall since we've reopened. We've used a lot of the information coming from the student population to change up our product mix in the new store. So you'll see a lot more organic items, more frozen items, more things that you can take home and microwave in your dorm or your apartment. So far we've been able to add about 200 more items to our product mix in the store. We're still growing and still kind of listening to the students to figure out what our perfect mix is. I'd say it'll be an ever-changing process to see what the students are liking, if we can bring things on the shelves that they've not seen before, some things that are not working, we can eliminate those. So we're really excited about the new space. It's only been open for 2 weeks. I think that, again, it'll just keep growing and growing as we figure out what the right mix is, but so far it's been really successful and super busy. We've also extended our hours this semester to Saturday. Before we were only Monday through Friday. So last year we extended Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then this semester we've also honored that and then added on the Saturday hours as well. So we're seeing a lot more traffic and a lot more need for things for students to take home with them. So really listening and kind of figuring out how to fine tune that and grow that moving forward.
Now, unfortunately yesterday, due to the power outage, is there any procedures, more procedures going on until we can obviously get the cafe back open?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we are running a buffet to make certain that we can provide meals in the library and the health pavilion. And then we are running both of the coffee shops in the library and the health pavilion business as usual with extended hours to support dinner. So we had a dinner buffet last night with a few hundred students that were able to attend, and then a hot breakfast this morning in the library as well. We're staying in constant communication with the university to see when it's safe to open back up, but we will have the dining spaces open just as soon as we can. So the good news with the power outages, we didn't have any waste. We were able to take all of the items that we had prepped and be able to disperse those back out into the operation and the health pavilion and the library. So we were really, really fortunate to not encounter any waste or loss of anything and be able to filter those products back to the students. So yeah, I think we made the best of the situation for sure.
And how was the process for the decision making to create a buffet in the library like?
So we work really closely with the president's office on that. Any decisions that are made from a dining perspective, we make certain that we partner with the right players at the university to make the decision that's best for the community here.
Yeah. So you may not know this, but they sent out about a gas leak in Switz. Did that have anything to do with the cafeteria and the power outage, or?
That's a really good question. I'm not really certain of the intricacies. Yesterday, our team was so invested in making certain that we were getting our product together and kind of scrambling just to make sure that we were still able to provide service. Unfortunately, I'm not really privy to those details. I wish that I knew, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And for future outages or just problems that come in the dining hall, how can students stay aware and stay updated on closings and different hours?
So we have a dining website. It's dine@uindy.com. We also filter most of our communication through the university, and they would send out everything through the students, but we do keep our website updated as well. So I think those are probably the best avenues of communication. Again, we manage the dining website, but I think that the university is just really, really on it and very quick with their information out to the students. So we filter a ton of our information that way.
Now, I know like some other campuses besides us, for like their dining, they have like, you know, like Chick-fil-A and like other fast foods.
Sure.
Would we be getting one, or do you not think like it would be?
Oh, franchises?
Yes.
Sure. So franchises are a decision that universities make. Obviously, as their food service provider, we would hand in hand work with them to kind of figure out strategy and logistics for all of that. So I would certainly not say no. I would say that if the university were interested in pursuing that, we would partner with them and help them, you know, work that out. At this time, to my knowledge, there are no plans to make that happen. But again, who knows what can happen in the future? We're incredibly open and supportive to whatever that partnership may look like.
And then going off of that, how can students bring up suggestions for like new food, drink services? Where can they go to offer that?
So at every register or point of sale, we have a QR code that the students can scan, and you can real-time chat with one of our leaders here on campus. More often than not, that would be myself, but we also have a really strong supporting team that manages the locations on campus. So you can use that QR code, scan it immediately. The feedback comes to us right now. There's also a text back function that's posted at all of the dining locations on campus. Just a small 5-digit number. You can text it, and again, that goes to our phones as well, so that we can communicate with you in real time. We also have the Dine at UND website and Facebook page, and Instagram as well. So we kind of try to cover all facets. I think that every student likes to communicate in a different way, so we try to make certain that we have all the bases covered. Also, you can find one of us in the locations, one of the leaders, and just say hi, for those of you that are comfortable kind of seeking us out. But I think that this year our focus has really been more feedback and more ways that make sense for the student population. So QR codes and the texting, I think, have been the most popular.
So we are more of like, for our drinks is like Pepsi products.
Yes.
So why are we more Pepsi versus like the Coca-Cola products?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that those, obviously Pepsi and Coke are the big two, so wherever you go, you're going to have one or the other. Pepsi actually contracts with the university and with athletics, so that's a decision that is made within the UND community. As the food service provider, again, we're here to support, so that's a decision that UND makes. They have a really good, very strong, long-term partnership with Pepsi, so yeah, that's something that's driven by the university, and then we obviously participate and help with the ordering and placement on campus. So,
yeah. And then does the dining hall partnership with UND Radio? Because often while I'm sitting in the dining hall with friends, I hear our UND Radio HD free going on.
Yes. Yes, that's something that we started last spring. It's been a really good partnership. They actually helped us with our sound system, and they said, hey, we can help you if you want to play the radio, which of course we do. There's a big student demand for it. It's been really well received. So yeah, we were able to do that earlier this year.
Could we start playing UND TV on there?
I mean, I wouldn't see why not. We would support whatever decisions you want to make. I think any way that we can enhance the community and the dining space, we are all up for it. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, like, as you're the manager of food services, what's your favorite foods being offered here on campus?
Right now, I'd say the global station in the Ober Dining Hall, the walk space. I think it's just really fun to be able to kind of pick out your own proteins and veggies and have them made right there fresh in front of you. But I'm partial to all the things happening in the new dining space. I think that our pizza has just improved so much with the new oven. And I think that it's really neat to kind of see our staff in all those spaces. So we try everything. We try the food every day. It's one of the benefits of working in food service. So right now I think the walk station's really awesome. But some days pizza as well. So.
Should we be expecting anything exciting for the midnight breakfast?
Yeah, I think the midnight breakfast is always fun. We're really excited to facilitate in the new space and see logistically how that works. So we've tweaked the menu just a little bit this year to offer some French toast based on student demand, which is kind of fun. Still sticking with the traditionals and the donuts and everything. So I think it'll be really interesting to see it play out and see all the students in the new space. So we're really excited to make that happen this year. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy, for being here on Good Morning Greyhounds and giving us the insights on all things Dining Hall, Greyhound Express, and so much more. I'm Binks Puente.
And I'm Adriana Ojeda. And don't forget to tune us back in next Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning.